Hi, I'm Susan Fandacone, and today I'm going to share my story about our mom, Joan Parsons. 11 years ago, our mom had a brain aneurysm, and it left her with many disabilities. She has aphasia, and she also has no short-term memory. Over the last 11 years, we have learned how she communicates, verbally and non-verbally. Over the last 11 years, she's had multiple hospital stays, and we've always been able to be there to help her access her medical care and her voice to be heard when she's not able to speak, how she feels, her symptoms, and her choices. We have always had the opportunity to be with her 24 hours a day. Our family took shifts, so she was never alone. But unfortunately, this past April, when our mom had to go to the hospital due to kidney issues, we were not able to be there for her. Our family became very frightened and scared. We didn't know what was going to happen to her going into the hospital. So we scrambled to write down all of her doctors, her medications, things she's allergic to, her symptoms, her disabilities, that she's nonverbal, and all of our information. We had no idea if it was going to be transferred. Things get lost in the hospital. We've experienced that over and over, and that's why we never left her. So as our mom went to the hospital, we called the hospital, tried to find an advocate, somebody that would be able to be her voice and speak with the family so she wasn't sitting alone in a room, and we weren't getting anywhere. So during that time, we were talking to family and friends, just trying to figure out how we could get to our mom so she wasn't alone, because due to COVID, the restrictions, we weren't able to be with her, even though she had the disabilities that should have allowed us to be there to be her advocate. We had come across a website for Communication First in Washington, D.C., and Tana Samansky reached out to the hospital immediately and tried to get us access to our mom. She kept hitting roadblocks. She couldn't get any answers. Nobody was letting us in. And over the next 24 hours, tests were being missed. At one point, she was speaking another language, even though we were speaking to the head nurse. And they were saying, oh, well, we have a translator in the room. And she didn't need a translator. She needed us to be there for her. So from there, Tana had reached out to Kathy Cushman, Disabilities Rights Connecticut, and together they were fighting to trying to get us access to our mom. During this time, our mom, which has no short-term memory, was having a lot of painful tests. And if you can vision yourself waking up in the middle of the night and people are coming at you with masks and full gear and inflicting pain on you, what would you do? You would fight. You would think you were being abducted or hurt. And that's what she did, which has never happened in the 11 years that we've been with her, because we've always been able to reorient her. And due to that, they tied her down, they restrained her, and they started to sedate her. And with a brain aneurysm, once you start to do any brain injury, you sedate somebody, their ability to even communicate the little bit that they can is completely taken away from them. This is when Disability Rights Connecticut and Communication First, Tana and Catherine, had continued to fight and find a way to get us access to our mom. And that's when she reached out to OCR. And it was amazing how quickly things started to go. We were able to get a mediation, early resolution, put into place. They reached out, where I hear this usually takes like months or years to get things going. It was days. It was so fast. And they were able to have somebody in Boston mediate with Hartford Hospital and ourselves to come up with a resolution. And during this time, they not only did that they were putting together a new model for the state of Connecticut and Hartford Hospital, and hopefully a model for the whole country, that this won't take place again. They were able to put into place in weeks the policy for the state of Connecticut, so people with disabilities could have access to a caregiver. And during our mom's 35 days at Hartford Hospital, once OCR got involved, we were able to see our mom at the 30th day. So during our mom's stay, what originally was a kidney infection was turned into COVID. And during that time, we weren't able to be there to access her health at all. And she quickly declined. She ended up on a ventilator. We were told that she was never going to make it because of her disabilities. And there was a doctor that we spoke to that said, you know, I've never seen somebody with your mom's disability survive. And we asked him, what are her disabilities? Because you've never asked us. Our mom at her baseline, she can smile, she can walk, she enjoys her grandchildren. She lives independently with our father. They have a very fulfilled, happy life. You can't just go by paper what somebody's disability is. And without having an advocate there for you when you have a disability, these are the assumptions that happen. And they were giving up on our mom. And we reminded him that this woman survived sepsis 7 times this summer. She is a warrior. She is strong. And it's not your choice to decide if she lives or dies. I feel like sometimes people with disabilities get left behind because of those assumptions. And luckily, we had the opportunity to be able to explain to this doctor how fulfilled her life is. And I think it gave him a chance to have more empathy for the family, and to see that she should be given a chance. Because of her disabilities, they weren't going to give her the same opportunities of treatments as somebody without her disabilities. During that time, our mom, once again, fought. We had the minister there. They were giving her her last rites, and she came off the ventilator and she breathed on her own. And that day was the day that OCR had helped out with mediation. We came to a resolution. And that next day, we were able to be with her. And when we walked in that room, she pointed to the door and she said, home. She wanted to go home. The nurse that was with her after she left the ICU and she went to a negative floor was the same nurse that intubated her and brought her up to the ICU. And she said, your mom's the first patient that I had the opportunity to see since we intubated. And we did not think she was going to make it. And it was a very emotional moment. Everybody cried. And my mom, with us, were able to help her model her words and stuff, said thank you. And she was able to, you could tell the relief. The nurse even said, it's like people with disabilities need their family. They need to have a voice. They need to have an opportunity to access what they need as care. And in the 11 years with our mom, she never had to feel unsafe or unprotected, because she knew when she was unable to speak, that us as a family could be her voice. And that was taken away from us. But because of OCR, we were able to give our mom her voice back. And we are forever grateful. And us as a family refer to this as Joan's voice. And because of this, no family will have to go through the nightmare that we went through. And we're forever grateful. If anybody's going through something like this with a family member with a disability, know that you're not alone, and there's plenty of advocacy programs out there to help you. There's Communication First, Disabilities Rights Connecticut, and HHS Office for Civil Rights. They're there for you, and they're going to help you.